a Google Hangout. This Hangout on air is live. So I'm presenting to everyone, whoever that is. There may be nobody there. I'm just trying to work all this out. So up the top, we've got the Google bar, hide participants, invite people, mute microphone, turn camera off, adjust bandwidth usage, settings. That looks all right. Leave call, whatever that is. Well, I'll just start talking, I guess. I don't know how all this is going to work out. Send invitations. Okay, I'll just keep talking. I don't know what's going on here, but we'll see what happens. Control room. Okay, so I'll just keep talking and see what happens. I've got no idea what's going on here. So my name is Jack William Atkins. I live in Carlton here in Melbourne, Australia. I'm on the border of Carlton and Fitzroy. So I call my little place here Carlroy Palace. The Republic of Carlroy, or the Ambassadorial Republic to the Kingdom of Tatiara. So that's okay. So just trying to work this out here. I'll just sit here and talk for hours and hours on end and see what happens. Just having a little bit of breakfast soup, chicken noodle soup, or no, Chinese noodle cup soup. Looking at the back of the picture here, on the screen it's back to front. The words, I can't read the words there. So maybe the picture needs to be reversed back like that. I don't know. Let's see if I can just work that out. I don't know if this is working at all. No idea what's going on here, but I'm trying to check this out. So anyway, I'm live streaming. So I was born on the 6th of April 1955 at Keith Hospital in Keith, South Australia, which is in the ancient kingdom of Tatiara. And I guess that's been in my family since the first people walked onto Australia. I'd say 80,000 at least years. No one on Earth, nobody on Earth knows or can pinpoint the exact date for all those sort of things, because I'm not an archaeologist, but I'm not doing carbon dating of this and that, but it's a long, long time ago. So I'm not into all this Neanderthal business or this hominid business. We're all humans, all going way back. People are black because of the area that they evolved in, and the weather conditions, the food they ate. And that's why we get white people, yellow people, Asians, Caucasians, and Africans. Because of the place that you evolved, the amount of sunshine, the tree cover, the food you ate, the animals you ate, the plants you ate, and the natural selection. We've got to remember that I'm not really into this natural selection. I think it's more like a bit of natural selection and a little bit of unnatural selection and a little bit of natural deselection. Because whenever we select a partner, we have to deselect all the other ones who are in line or who are gathering around or who may come in the future. So it's selection and deselection would be the principle of life and reproduction in the human race. I've been deselected quite a few times, and I've done a bit of selecting over the years. But what I'd really like is a little bit more permanency with a single available female. But I'm a bit of a monk. I'm a priest. I'm a Christ. I'm a king. I'm a Lord. I am the Mahdi of Islam. I'm a prophet. I'm everything in the spirit world, and I have been all my life. I am the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and all that sort of carry on. But that's all spiritual, biological manifestation. I've gone one step further than all of that. So I made up the word Sark's kin. Sark's kin. So I'm reading that back to front now. So I need to change that picture to the other side, I think, so I can see myself properly. I think you're reading it back to front as well. This is just a poster I made up. Sark's ketosis will destroy every human disease in my lifetime. That is how it's working. YouTube is sucking all the mental illness out of the planet, out of the human race, out of the humans. And so people who spend a lot of time on YouTube, if they're looking at all the right people, following all the right people on the important issues, not just celebrity, movie, game stuff, but if you're following biological, medical things, you sort of become addicted to it, and you keep following all these people, and sooner or later you realize that following other people is no good. It doesn't matter what they're talking about. Eventually you come to the conclusion that I have to just start thinking for myself, and I have to start living for myself. I have to eat for myself. I can't follow anyone else. It's no good being entangled in any toxic fashion, excuse me, with anybody else. Simple as that. I don't want to be toxic in any toxic relationship that isn't going to do me any good. So I've been a monk for about 20 years, living here on my own. And because the world out there doesn't really subscribe to my brain or my mind or my way of thinking, because technically I am the Christ. I'm completely shut out of the whole world, and but I'm still alive. I guess a lot of people who are pushed right out of the world die, and I have been dead. I did die in 1985 in a padded cell. But I had a massive near-death experience I should have died, but I came back to life because I was the Christ. My body was Christified, uh, by my experiences before that. So I had all the Christ experiences before I died, and that's why I came back to life. I could have died and finished off completely, but I came back because my body and my mind and my spirit was all Christ. But I was in denial of it all at the time. I was on drugs and alcohol, and I had a hole in my soul. I was broken and everything else from my life's journey. And it was appropriate that I die under those circumstances like everybody else would have. But because of my earlier experiences as Christ, I've been given the bonus of having two lives. So it all goes back to 1955 when I was born, 6th of April, which here in Australia is just starting to get cold, coming up to winter. So what season is that? Summer, autumn, winter, spring. So I was born in the summer is December, January, February, March, April. I was born coming up to the middle of autumn. So mum and dad were on a train with my older sister Eileen. They were going to South Australia to visit my uncle and aunt, Uncle Frank and Auntie Sandra. All my uncles and aunts are passed on now. Dad was one of 7. Mum was one of 5. Dad has passed on in 1984 in a car accident. He was drunk, and you can't drive a car when you're drunk. It's not a good idea. It more than likely kill you or somebody else. So I don't recommend that. I don't drive a car. He was in a Mercedes Benz. I'm not keen on Mercedes Benzes. I shouldn't maintain that idea of superstition, but I became a little bit superstitious about cars, and when I moved in here, I couldn't afford to drive a car anyway, so I sold my last car before I moved into here. Well, actually, my brother Colin sold it for me. I was living in a sort of a backpacker's place, a hostel in Richmond, in Church Street, Richmond, and I was only there for a few days. But I was still going down to my rock bottom. I was sitting down in the world. I'd lost everything. At that time, I didn't have much. I had the car, so I rang Colin and said, "Can you come over and get rid of this car and sell it for me?" So that was okay. And then I had all I was left was a few clothes, a few little knickknacks of some sort. I think I had a statue of a woman, a bronze statue about this big, about 8 inches. Beautiful bronze statue of a woman, which I saw in a market. It was just sitting in a box in a market, and I thought, that's beautiful. So I bought that, and I became attracted to that little statue. And I had a roll of film. That roll of film was taken about 1968. My father gave me a camera for Christmas. I bought a roll of film, put it in it, black and white. I took some pictures of my family, my brothers mainly. I think we went up the park, and I took some photos of my 4 brothers at the time. I don't know if I'm in any of them. I might be. I think I am. And then I just put that roll of film aside, and I never got it developed. It was just sitting in the drawer all my life for 40 years. That roll of film just sat in the drawer and never got developed. So I took that down. I only had a few clothes left and a few knickknacks and all my gold medals, a few trophies and things from playing volleyball for Australia for 7 years, over a period of 7 years. So I hope this is working out all right. Otherwise, I'll be sitting here talking and it may not upload okay. But anyway, we'll see what happens. If you want to join in, just join in. I don't know how anyone's going to join in. I'm supposed to invite people. But getting back to the story, so I think I subconsciously wanted to get rid of everything. So I was going through my few little knickknacks I had. There might have been a few cufflinks, a little bit of cash and money, cards and bank accounts and things. I was just in this little room in Richmond, lying on a mattress on the floor and heading towards some sort of rock bottom. I'd already been dead at the time. I was in Al-Anon. I was attending Al-Anon meetings. So we're talking about 1995, I think. 93, I don't know, 95. Earlier than that, I was living with my ex, Mary, down at Frankston, I think, and I sort of moved away from there. And so I didn't have much left. The money was all gone. I was on a pension. And so I took that roll of film and got it developed after 40 years. And the photos came out quite good. They were excellent photos, and they're now in the family album over at Gary's place, my brother Gary's place. And they were perfect. They came out really well. And I think if I was going to do more photos, I might even stick with the black and white because they turned out very nicely. So that was good. And that little bronze statue of a woman, I just happened to take that down to Mornington. And in Mornington, there's a place called the Briars. And that's where all of Napoleon's furniture is kept in a little house on a cattle farm. And it's open for public viewing. You just go in and go into this little house on the property, and all of Napoleon Bonaparte's furniture is there with a few pictures on the wall. I have to get down there and have another look one day. So I was down there with this little statue. I thought I'd bury it somewhere for future, instead of throwing away all my stuff, I thought I'd hang on to that. So I buried it down on that property under a tree on the northwest, about a metre from the northwest side of a tree down there. I did go back years later with something, and but I thought I'd try and get it back, but the ground was too hard on the day, and I couldn't quite dig down. I didn't know. I gave up, and so that statue is still buried down there on that property. I'll get it back one day. And what else do I have left? The car was gone. The statue was gone. The photos were gone. So I threw away all the rest of the little bits and pieces. I probably threw away my bank book or whatever. And all I was left with was my clothes and a towel, a beach towel, big beach towel. And that was about it. So then I threw away the beach towel, and all I had was my clothes. I threw away all the extra clothes. I just had one set of clothing. And then I threw that all away as well. So basically, it didn't exactly happen this way, but basically, I was back to naked in the world. All my personal possessions were gone. And this is just what happened. All my personal possessions gone. I did own a property, a flat, a 3-bedroom flat in Dandenong. But that got sold. When I split up from Mary, I had about $30,000. I just spent all that. I wasted it on a car and this and that. That all went. So all the money was gone. So I threw away everything. I was naked and had to start all over again. I make a bit of a joke out of it. I say I was completely naked, and then I went down to David Jones, bought a pair of undies, and started all over again. And I think we need to do this sometimes. Some people need to do this because the attachment to your personal possessions can mess up your mind. And they may be the wrong type of possessions. You might have all the wrong clothes. Because your personal possessions can drive you crazy. So I guess mine did. And I just had to get rid of everything and go back to nakedness. So I returned to the state of Adam, or I returned to the state of being an Aborigine, or I returned to the state of being a first man. Adam was probably the first man who had a spiritual experience, and that would have been the beginning of the world. The world of humans, I think, would therefore relate to the world of humans who have spiritual connections or spiritual experiences. I'd say the people before Adam and Eve probably didn't have any spiritual experiences because they weren't fully formed. The language wasn't fully formed. Possibly the pineal gland wasn't fully formed, or it began to calcify or something or other. So I'm willing to concede that possibly Adam was the first man to have a conception of God. Before that, no conception of God. But some people call the people who lived before Adam were gods themselves. And of course, my family, and the Jews say that Adam is 5,000 or 6,000 or something years ago. So I don't know what they're talking about there, because my family's been running around here for 80,000 years. So I don't know how we reconcile that. I think they do that so they can be separate. Their belief system keeps them separate from everyone else. And I don't really personally believe that's a good idea to have everyone separate. I think we should all be on the same page in every aspect of life. The reason that there are so many different aspects and religions and nations is that we needed to basically conquer the whole world in such a way that if we all stayed together in one place originally, like they had with the Tower of Babel, which they wanted to keep everyone there. I think it was Nimrod. Keep everyone in the same place in the world. Can I keep talking while I have a look at that email? I'm going to look at this email, just see if I can keep talking. So I think keeping everyone in the same place on the planet might have been... I'm just looking, the camera should still be going. I'm just looking at all this crap that comes through on the email, all this spam from people don't know anything about. So there's someone here, so I'll just let this person know. I'm just saying, I'm talking on live stream now on YouTube. See if you can join in. first time practicing this. Just send that off. He might join in. We'll see what happens. So just put that down. So I'm back again. So where was I with this story? Yeah, we need to reconcile the human race. I used to work in reconciliations, financial reconciliations. I was a credit manager. So I had to reconcile the books. I did that for about 10 years or so. I don't know. I can't remember. If I think about anything, I can remember everything and keep notes and do notes of exactly my whole life. Every human being should be able to document their whole life from their memory about where they worked, what relationships they were in, what friends they had, what financial transactions they were involved in, or their family business, etc., 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 who died when, who was born when. So everyone should be able to get that out of their mind. If you've got a clear mind and a good memory, you should be able to put down your whole life story, simply just getting it out and talking about it. So this is what I'm doing now. This is a good thing, this live stream. I can talk here for 8 hours. I was never much of a talker. I never really talked growing up. I couldn't talk. My brain wasn't wired for talking. I was just a typical boy. These days, the doctors would want to give me pills for that, which is complete garbage. All doctors are rubbish, but the surgeons are okay. Sometimes you need surgery. For example, I was impaled to a tree, so I needed surgery to sew up my leg and put the bone back together again. I didn't break the bone. The bone was split up the middle, my shin bone. The branch acted like a knife and cut my shin bone up the middle, and I was impaled to the tree. So I was hanging up a tree like Jesus Christ. Now, was that a miracle? Did that meant to have happened? Did God make it happen? Did the spirits make it happen? I don't think so. There's no proof that there is a God, but there's a very strong proof that there is a Bible. I do believe there is a Bible, and the prophecies in the Bible are all coming true because everybody's forcing it to happen. So the energy, the mental energy of all the Christians and all human beings basically on earth caused me to be impaled to the tree. How did that happen? I don't know. I mean, what was it? Did I cause it? Did God cause it? Is there a God? Nobody's got the answer. Nobody can give me the right answers for this. Nobody. So, excuse me for saying so. So is a Chinese name, and probably not a good idea to keep saying so. Probably better to say therefore, as you do when you're writing, therefore. So let me know if I think I'm reading that back to front. I don't know if you're reading it right to front or left to right or whatever, but anyway, where was I? So I could ramble on and on and on, tell my whole life story. Someone might listen to it, who knows? Lately I've been doing a lot of YouTube. I'm into the flat earth community now because it's a good little group of people with different ideas which go against the mainstream. That's the main thing. You have to go against the mainstream at some stage for your own sanity, for your own independence, for your own, I'll say sovereignty. I only say sovereignty because I'm a king. I'm the king of my tribe. I'm the oldest male, the elder. I'm over 60. I'm an elder of the Watchabalek tribe in Australia, in Victoria and South Australia. and I'm an elder of the Gunai Kurnai tribe in Gippsland, southeast Victoria, state of Victoria. And I'm now living in Melbourne, so I'm a bit cut off from my native roots, but I am English as well. My mother's family came from London, so I'm a London Aborigine of Australia. I better write that down, otherwise I forget things if I don't write them down. London Aborigine of Australia. So I'm not actually born in London, but my mother's family were from London. My father's family came from Huntingdonshire in the Midlands in England, in the middle part of England, Huntingdonshire, from a little town called Elton. Elton, nothing to do with Elton John. I think he took that name because I came from there. My family came from there, excuse me. My father's family came from there. On my father's English side. So I'm a 16th Aborigine of Australia, if we talk about it that way. Sometimes I say I'm 100% Aborigine and 100% English, Australian. So I'm 200%, I'm 100% Aborigine and 100% English. I'm 200%. Or I could say I'm 100% Aborigine of Australia. I'm before 80,000, I was 100% Asian, going down that line, and then I was 100% Middle Eastern or something, going way back, and then I could say I was 100% African, or I could go way back before that and say I was 100% Antarctic. But you got to remember, 50,000 years ago, the sea levels weren't as high as they are today. And you could probably walk from the South Pole to the North Pole on land. I prefer to walk on land. You could probably walk all over the whole Earth at one stage before all the water fell down out of the atmosphere or bubbled up out of the hot boiling mud of the Earth, the magma, which took millions of years to cool down. I don't know how long it took to cool down. But in our minds, we need to have some sort of scenario for our history. We can destroy all history and just walk around as social, sexual, working beings, loving beings without any history. But sometimes it's good to know how we got here, where we come from. We don't have to answer all the questions. Not all the questions can't be answered. I don't think, really. The records only go back, well, birth certificates only started in the, the 1500s or something. And very few people got mentioned before that. You'd have to be a king or a warrior or a philosopher, or a lover, or a god, in the ancient term of God, to be written down. Millions and trillions of people never got their name written down. And in those days, back in the old days, people only ever had one name. And going back further, we probably didn't have any names at all. We were just getting around without names. How would you like to get around without a name? Okay, well, I'll be nameless for the rest of this video. And if I was historyless, I'd just be sitting here as a being who was just eaten. And the only thing I'm thinking about is friendship and love. That's my only interest, is love. Love is my only interest in life. I don't work for anyone else. My life was shattered by everybody. The whole world shattered my life. If you like, I was shattered into a million pieces. And it's taken me 60 years to get myself back to normal. So I'm coming back to normal now, but I've got a lot of things. I've learned a lot of things along the way about shattered people. Someone's just talking to me. Typing something in here. So, look, I'll just stop this broadcast. I'm not sure exactly what the hell's going on here. Now, you are presenting to, I'm presenting to everyone. Can somebody else turn camera on? Okay, the camera's on. The microphone is on. Yeah, it looks like everything's going okay. Just playing the sound. The sound is good. Control room. You can't click on that. I don't know what the purpose of that is. You can take that right section off. Okay, we're in the middle of the screen. I'm live. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but we'll see. We'll just take it one step at a time. I don't know if anyone can actually see into this or join in. I'm not exactly sure. So, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but I'll just keep talking. So, where was I? I've got one viewer. Is that me? Links. I'm not sure how this is working. But anyway, I'll just keep talking. So we've got to get the history of the world right. We've got to know how we all got here properly, as scientifically as possible. But we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose ourselves in the history of the world. We don't want to rely on the history of the world for our own identity. We need to be fully identified as ourselves in the here and now without any emotional content, because we don't want people flying all over the place with their emotions going up and down like a yo-yo. And we need everybody stabilized. Of course, your emotions go all over the place when you're trying to make money, when you're getting up in the morning and going to work and slaving over your work for 8 hours a day. And the stresses of life are way too much for the human to bear. We've turned all the human beings into slaves, and it's not good. They're slaves to their addictions. Sport is a slavery. It's an addiction. I wasted 10 years playing sport. Looking back now, I'd say it was a complete waste of time. Sport is a complete waste of time. Once you join a team, all you can do is follow. You got to follow the coach, the captain, and you're just a slave to the sport. Okay, you get the health benefits. A lot of sports you can get injured, and it's not good for the brain, and it's not good for the health. As far as nutrition goes, if you don't nutrify your body properly, It's a waste of time playing sport. Sport is an addiction. Physical exercise is an addiction. Human beings were never created by me to play sport. So we can debate this forever, but so what I'm basically saying is if I was interested in sport, I'd be wasting my time. My time is too valuable to be wasting with sport. And so I'll just leave that out. I don't want to waste any time with anything. I don't want to waste time with animals. A lot of people put animals before humans. I don't do that. I put humans first. And I prefer to leave animals out of my life completely. I would never have a pet. All animals are basically rats. So these people with dogs and cats, they just got a big rat running around their house full of disease and are dirty, rotten, filthy things. And playing with an animal is just not good for you. I don't believe having pets is good for you. The cats wipe their ass all over your furniture if they come inside. Same with the dogs and cats. They drop their hair all over the place, and that's not good for your health. All the shit that hangs off their body gets on your furniture, it dries out, and it goes to dust, and it gets in the dust and the atmosphere in your home. And it goes in up your nose and into your body, and the next thing your body's full of toxins from your pets. So I don't recommend pets under any circumstances. Complete waste of time. If I had kids, I wouldn't give them pets. I wouldn't even take them to the zoo in their childhood. There's no need for it. It's not human. It's not human to live with animals. This is a late thing in life, only the last few hundred years that people started trying to make money out of pets. So pets are just as bad as junk food, as far as I'm concerned. So if you're listening to me, I'd say never have pets. Sheepdogs might be as far as you'd want to go if you've got a herd of sheep. Or cattle dogs or whatever. So I don't know how long I can keep talking here because I'm going to get a sore throat. Throughout my life, a lot of times I didn't talk because I always had a sore throat. I've got a sore throat now. I should have hot water with me here. I'll get some hot water. Just stand by for a moment. No, actually, I think I'll stop. I think I'll just stop this, and I can resume it. There seems to be something where you can stop and resume on the same broadcast. So I'll just stop that broadcast.